All right, let's bend some aluminum with fire. 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 All right, so what we're going to do is bend some aluminum. But aluminum is a bizarre substance. It can be manipulated with mostly woodworking tools, so I don't need a metal shop here, but it's not as satisfying as steel. It doesn't spark, it doesn't turn red, it just is. And then you have to wail on it to make it bend. So the process is some aluminum will bend by itself, but others have a ductility, which basically is a stiffness or a hardness that if you try to bend it without a process, it will crack. And the process is called annealing. And what annealing will do is it will make the aluminum softer so that you can bend it and get shapes like that. Now, please note that this is not perfectly straight because I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing and I don't have all the right tools. I'm using a drill press vise to bend this stuff and I'm wailing on it with a hammer, and probably there's a better way to do it, but meanwhile, we're doing it. So anyway, annealing, what annealing does is it excites the atoms inside the aluminum. So aluminum and most metals are a crystal lattice in very, very super atomic level. And the atoms in the when they're made in the process tend to be a little bit distorted. Or dislocated. They're not quite perfectly crystallized. So when you bang the crap out of something like this, there are weak points and not weak points, and it breaks. What annealing does is you're basically heating up with a torch the metal, and I'll show you that in a minute. You're heating up the metal, which is causing the atoms to excite, and then they sort of excite and go to where they're really supposed to be in that lattice. And they both strengthen the lattice and soften it so that when you bend it, you don't have certain areas that are more robust and other areas that are weak and therefore cause cracks. You have a nice smooth lattice which allows it to bend. Science.
This program is sponsored in part by the Advanced Geekery weekly newsletter. Want exclusive access to my latest ZDNet articles, behind-the-scenes updates on my projects, and must-watch YouTube videos curated just for you? How about fascinating reads from around the web and a chance to have your own project spotlighted? It's all in the newsletter. And the best part, subscribing is absolutely free. Don't wait, click the link below to get your weekly issue and make it awesome.
Okay, so a quick note about this process. These are the iron bars I picked up from my local hardware store. And I had no idea what form of aluminum they were made from. But I was able to get a model number from the hardware store. So I fed that into ChatGPT. ChatGPT was able to find out from the model number the ductility, and from that it was able to tell me whether or not it needed to be annealed before being bent. So that's the process I went, is I found a model number from the company, and then, sort of relying on ChatGPT to hopefully be right. It told me that it was a fairly non-ductile form of aluminum, so I had to anneal it, and that's how we got here. Okay, so let's do this. So to anneal something like this, you have to get it to a hot enough temperature. The gotcha about doing that with aluminum is aluminum does not turn red. It gives no visual indications whatsoever that it's hot enough to be bent. So there's a whole bunch of sort of trade skills that go into this. One is putting soot from a candle on it, and then when you heat it, the soot goes away. Another one, which I like a lot more because it's a lot less of a pain, is to mark it with a Sharpie and then heat it until the Sharpie goes away. And that's what I've done for the other side, and it seems to work. So that's what we're going to do now. So my mark is on the other side of this. My mark is on the other side of that, but I am just going to draw a Sharpie line right about there. bend, not quite right about there, and heat it up so that the line goes away. And that's what we're going to do next. So one of the things I've got going on over on the workbench is I need a landing zone for when this thing is done, because it's going to be really hot. And so I want to make sure that I've got something that I can put these on when I'm done heating it. So I'm going to be using this Dremel torch to do the heating, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. You've got to sort of undo this here, and you're supposed to be able to hold it down by, basically you have to hold it with your thumb to heat. So I want to push, that's released, right? And then I want to push this, and you can see there's a flame. But I have to hold the thumb down, because this thing, if you move it, will actually keep the thumb hold down. But I am about to put on a glove onto that hand. And then I'm going to grab the metal. Whoops. I'm going to grab the metal. And I'm going to grab the metal with pliers, because I want to insulate myself from what is going to be very hot metal, like so. So then I'm going to heat it here until it gets all toasty. And this is annealing. We are actively moving molecules. And we're waiting for the Sharpie to go away. The metal theoretically should get up to about 700 degrees, but we're just going to use the Sharpie as our indicator. And I'm just moving my torch back and forth. Right now it's starting to get gray. I think you might be able to tell that it's really graying out. There are little spots, which is kind of interesting. There's little spots of Sharpie, but it's going away. And so the thing is, you don't bend it right after you heat it up. You let it cool, which is, if you give the aluminum about 5 minutes, it will cool. And then during that 5 minutes, the the atoms are relatticing themselves. They're locating themselves to more comfortable, more natural positions in the lattice. And that will give you a piece of aluminum that should be able to bend on this line without breaking. And as you can see, that Sharpie line is almost gone. I'm going to give it another minute or two. I'm going in a little bit of a circle around it just to spread the annealing process a little bit around the point where I'm bending. And there we are. As you can see, the Sharpie line is basically gone. Far end of the metal isn't hot, so I can just pick it up and put it down and let it cool. So we'll be back in 5 minutes or so, and you could let it cool for longer than that, but we'll be back in 5 minutes or so to do the next step. So while I'm waiting for it to cool, I'm going to show you my little setup over here. I don't have a really good mechanism for holding and banging the metal. What I've got is I have a couple of Harbor Freight wood vices attached to the Workbench, which is, questionable. And then I have a Harbor Freight drill vise, which is meant to sit up here on the drill. And I'm using that as my metal bending source. And I have that attached. Well, I had it attached with other vices, with other clamps. And when I banged on it, they weren't able to hold. So I put these little metal dog hole holders that came with the Workbench in the direction of the vices, so that when I bang on it, the vise doesn't go out. But I only had one clamp, this one C clamp that was big enough to reach the vise and hold it. So, and the table itself moves while you flail at it. So it's not exactly what you, oh, and the table is down hard on the ground. It's not on wheels or anything, but it's not the best, but it kind of works. All right, so it actually took about 10 minutes to cool enough to touch. And what I'm going to do is mount this in the vise. Get it right on that line. It's right on the line. And pull it tighter. Yeah, still straight. Pull that as tight as I can. Now the vise is moving a little bit, but it'll solid up in a minute because I'm going to be bent. Oops, okay, not tight enough. This is not the best vise in the world. Hopefully that will hold it better. I see what's going on. The weight of this piece is causing us an issue, which I didn't have before because the piece didn't shoot out on that side before. So, hopefully that will keep the vise in place. Alright. The problem with that is that they're now in the way where I need a whale. So let's try doing it that way. That should work. All right, so time to whale on some aluminum. Ice is not holding. So this is proving to be an interesting challenge because the whole thing needs to stay stable. And it's not. It's just flat out not. All right, let's bring this back to here. Let's loosen this up a little bit. This is such a not cool way of doing this whole thing, but it's what I got. All right, so the vise is on the wood. I think it's tight. Let's try that again. Ready? Now it's working. All right, now I'm going to switch up to the other hammer, which is very heavy. Moving the whole table back. Here's what it looks like from the top. All right, so I got my second bend in here, and it's a pretty good right angle actually. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So that's what's involved in annealing aluminum to bend it. And as you can see, it's not as sharp a right angle as I'd like, probably due to the actual anvil vise that I had, which is pretty pretty limited. But there are, show you, there are no cracks. See? It's not cracked at all. That is annealing. And that's the benefit of annealing, to increase the ductility. And there we are. So for Advanced Geekery, my name is David Gowards. Go out there and burn and bash something awesome.